Call the Stokes County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. I'll ask Commissioner Chamberlain to do the invocation.
Please stand. Lord, we're gathered here today for more meetings in the official duties of Stokes County. You've given us another beautiful day, another great county that we live in with the beauty. And the biggest thing is our people. Our people are hardworking, our people are dedicated. And we really appreciate you giving the vision to have the crowd we have here today as we listen to our constituents as to what their feelings are in dealing with the county business. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion on the approval of the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Move us to public comments.
Each speaker shall be allowed 4 minutes for public comments with the option to yield time to another speaker at an optional minute depending on the number of speakers that have signed up while abiding by the 30-minute total time limit. All speakers shall maintain good decorum and show respect and good manners. Vulgar language, profanity, inappropriate gestures, insults, personal attacks, accusations, and inflammatory language is prohibited. The chairman of the board shall enforce these rules, and anyone not complying with these rules shall not be allowed to continue. At their discretion, members of the board may address items for the public comment portion of the meeting during the commissioner comment period. First up, we have Karina Ingrisi. Ingrisi?
Ingrisi. Yeah. Is this on? Oh, it is on. Okay, usually I get to watch these from work. Thanks for the opportunity to speak. I'm Karina Ingrisi, a citizen of Stokes County, resident of Danbury, and like hopefully all the people listening, I vote. I thank our current county commissioners for voiding their earlier vote to allow data centers in M2 zones while rezoning agricultural residential lands while approving PD Project Delta due to procedural error. Following these issues since January and separating rezoning approvals from the individual project approvals, it's obvious to me that all data centers are very different and both the short and long-term impacts of all data centers have yet to be fully understood. Firstly, this is outrageously framed by developers and proponents as a digital arms race with China, yet we already have thousands more data centers than China. We also sell chips to them and use their products in most everything electronic. This is not an arms race. People who push that divisive narrative are fearful and uninformed or have something to gain from those who are uninformed and or fearful. We also have executive orders that prohibit the use of Chinese-made goods for purposes these data centers are often used for, including all sorts of integrated surveillance. Therefore, I want to make it clear to everyone that we have already won the global data center race. Hooray. Secondly, multiple environmental and community impacts include, for one, extreme water consumption. How is this impact being studied on a regional level? What are the results of independent studies? The laws about data centers are often outdated and built around server farms decades ago. As Governor Stein has recently noted, and data centers are way beyond the scope of these outdated laws, we need more info on the impacts short and long term of water sourcing. For example, Nation said Thursday that PD expects to source 200,000 gallons a day from Walnut Cove's municipal supply of 5 wells plus what it buys from Danbury and Winston. NC.gov also states that Walnut Cove's current consumption on a normal day is 200,000 gallons, current use of the community, with extreme drought currently projected to get worse, yet even without drought, how will our supply support this project's water source needs? How will our regional water supply be affected and support all the data centers currently attached to the state's water table, let alone the projected data center populations? PD wastewater is planned to go into the municipal water treatment municipal water treatment of Walnut Cove, which is a wetland. Is it even able to support the waste from PD? Can it filter the chemicals that will need to be remediated? The water source Information was not in public discourse I was aware of until opponents asked Mr. Nations last Thursday. When asked, he had no prepared information research requested an email. How many data centers can our water table support while still supporting the communities that have grown up there? Our water table extends beyond Stokes County. These things are everywhere in North Carolina. And decisions made in Stokes County have ramifications for other communities as well. Remediation of eventual accidental contamination of whatever chemicals, we don't know, and how the contamination is remediated. There's no answer provided. What sort of remediation does glycol contamination in a floodplain require? Industrial hygienists only tell me you don't want that. What does it do to the river, the water, the table, the soil, living things? How will lithium and other industrial fire events that are documented issues in data centers contaminate the environment and be remediated? How will this place additional strain on emergency response? Has ELC or Mr. Nations donated financially to our fire department? When and how much? Heat island effect. What is the impact of heat island from data centers and the different ways they're affecting ecosystems? This is a relatively new aspect in the great scope of impact and needs more study. Grid strain is obvious, as projections on Thursday suggested that an early use the center would demand 1/5 of the power Blues currently produces. Aesthetics of the project can be managed on the exterior, but they are misleading as cosmetic surgery. Once a data center breaks ground, is the ecosystem it is on not broken? Humanity is part of that ecosystem and a steward of it. When thinking about future generations, please consider that these centers are already everywhere, and the projected tax revenues are likely to not match developer projections because they will be obsolete by the time the PD project is currently expected to be fully operational, leaving a degraded scar contaminated for the community to try and recover. Perhaps the best Stokes County could then collect government money as a Superfund site, but that's being sarcastic.
And I hate to interrupt, but go ahead and wrap it up, 'cause
Okay.
we got a 30-minute time
Yep.
limit.
Use your planning board and tourism board for advice to raise funds. Don't sell out to large empty corporate promises that will never bear fool's gold best case scenario. And I'd like to remind everyone listening that this board of county commissioners is a lame duck board already found doing backroom deals with developers that work against the recommendation of both its planning board and its tourism board. And we're going to have an election in November, and I would like to see a temporary moratorium placed until more research can be done about these more extensive impacts that we're discovering. Give more time for ample comment and legislation to be enacted. Thank you very much.
Susan?
Hello, I'm great respect and greetings to all of you. I am someone who moved here. And I moved here because of the water and the green trees and the green grass and the red dirt and the real people and so on and so forth. And I think all of this would change all of that. And I think that this area, not only is it projected to grow, but I think it will grow. I have confidence in that because I see more services being offered. And I see people working on different services being offered that are modern and cityfied, like, you know. And so, yay. And great job, you guys.
Thank you.
Michael Hartley?
Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to speak to you. I'm here to speak in opposition to the data center on the land on which it's proposed for, and to specifically talk about procedures that involve this current proposal and this current request. Now, I understand that the previous proposal was set aside for procedural reasons. And it is imperative that the citizenry of Stokes County be fully informed about this and participate in this decision. It apparently was not foremost in consideration, although I will say when the planning board heard the citizens in the initial proposal, they did welcome public comment, and they did vote in opposition to the location of that of the data center on this particular piece of land and their proceedings. And that was not made visible in the considerations of the commissioners when this was approved for the initial proposal. Now we begin again. And I would very much like to know what the proponent, Mr. Nations, has in mind. And he called a public information meeting, which my wife and I attempted to attend. We came to the public meeting, which was advertised from 6:30 to 7:30 in this building. And when we arrived early, the session was already in progress for 50 people. And we were told that there were 50 people already in line behind that, and that we would be able to participate in that public information session in an hour and a half. It was 90 degrees out there. And to expect the citizenry of Stokes County to come to a public information meeting by the proponent to learn what he proposes now and not be, we left because it was it was unendurable out there. That was inappropriate. I'll just say that straight out. Tomorrow, we understand that the planning board is holding a special session to consider language for about some sort of amendment to zoning regulations, as I understand it, which would determine how data centers will be governed in Stokes County. The information that I've gotten said that there would not be a vote on this, and there would not be a vote on the data center. I learned about this meeting on Friday. It's not been advertised. It's I believe that there is a requirement, if there's going to be a public meeting, that the citizenry be notified in a timely way so that they can arrive, we can arrive. And there is a substantial constituency, which I'm joined by and participant with, who are in opposition to this. I wanted to hear what Drew Nations had to say. I was not able to. What I will request of the planning board, because this is a complex question, and it definitely involves all of the citizenry, particularly if zoning change if M2 becomes available for data centers.
Sir, I hate to interrupt you, but your time's up and we need to move on to the next speaker.
I'm sorry.
We need to move on to the next
Thank you,
speaker.
sir. Thank you.
Thank
I
you for
appreciate
coming.
the opportunity.
I appreciate it.
Martha Hartley.
Ma'am, if you would, please state your name and address.
I sure will. My name is Martha Hartley. I live at 1100 Buck Meadow Lane in King,
Yes, ma'am.
but I'm in the county. Good evening. Stokes County is at an inflection point. As elected leaders, you have a great responsibility to care for this place that we call home. The supersized AI data center proposed for Stokes County is a dangerous idea. The developer is enticing you with polished presentations and the promise of millions of dollars in tax revenue. But who's to say that any of that will be forthcoming? And the trade-off is too much for us. The sacrifice is too much for us. There are too many unknowns about this supersized AI data center and its potential impacts. We do know impacts include harm to us through noise, air, and water pollution. These impacts also threaten our environment. There are also questions about our future affordable electricity and clean water. The 1,845 acres of beautiful farmland and historically significant lands along the Dan River could not be more inappropriate for industrial use. This land is our origin story, Sorrowtown. It's also part of the history of the wealthiest family in the county, the Harstons, and their thousands of descendants. This land is too important to sacrifice. It should be protected for us and for future generations. Please consider your legacy and how your decisions will keep Stokes County a wonderful place to live or irreversibly damage Stokes County with an unknown industry that remains incredibly controversial here and across the country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bertrand Bonnick.
Good evening, Commissioners. Stokes County, this is about being fair and decent in terms of our hearing. Why does a family who wants to put up a roof over poured concrete get a runaround from Stokes County Commissioners to Walnut Cove to Stokes County Commissioners? They ask her about easements, neighbors agreements, and architectural plans. And then it takes quite a bit of time for her to finally get her carport. However, a major project for 1,900 acres to take 5 years get fast tracked without settling the change of M2 to include hyperscale data center. Is that company going to pay their $20 million half down up front to improve the infrastructure of the Walnut Cove area ahead of time so that when they do build, we don't have excess traffic, excess accidents like we just came through today? Is that fair and decent? Are the commissioners prepared to suspend the rules that interfere with the proposal that they want to have to build a data center? Apparently they want to fast track it where just for this one special project, the M2 designation is given and all 8 centers are approved all at once. Is that fair and decent? What we need is a public hearing with the commissioners, and you have it in your rules where you can set up a 4 to 6 hour meeting with breaks where you have proponents and opponents with the commissioners and all the city officials present. Just a quick review. 18.6 is a way to defer consideration of a question for up to 100 days to allow you to perform your due diligence. 47.48 in Robert's Rule of Orders, if a parliamentarian is needed by the organization, the president shall be free to appoint one. Division of the question is something that commissioners should consider because actually the proposal has 2 motions in it. 1, to do the M2 designation, and 2, to build the hyperscale center. And that's section 27.1 of Robert's Rules of Order. So, there's one more thing. Ordinance 19.2 for Walnut Coves allows for the bomb threat that we had, where they had to close down. With a data center nearby, you cannot stop the trucks from going, you cannot stop all this thing from happening. Walnut Cove might as well not be a city. Can you approve a data center when your laws are not set up yet to have it? Are you willing to suspend the rules that interfere with fast tracking this? I think we shouldn't fast track it. I think the public should be heard. First on the M2 question, and secondly, then on one data center at a time. There's going to be 8. So therefore, we have 8 cities in Stokes. There's King, Tobaccoville, Walnut Cove. 3 of them are incorporated and the other 5 aren't. If this data center idea is great for Stokes County, why can't we go one by one and give each one of these cities their own data center? Think about it. But I think being fair and decent would be very helpful, and I think the public is ready to stand behind you as you make the great decision that we need. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sandy Novak.
Thank you. My name is Sandy Novak. You have heard the phrase, time will tell, and it surely will. Over time, we will see and experience truth and lies, wrong decisions made, and times where we have rushed into something we wanted so badly, only to have it bring great harm and damage and regret. And we surely will experience the results of good facts, knowledge, as well as the results of things we don't know about or greed to have and fear it may pass us by. And we will learn that facts and knowledge are not everything if not used with down-to-earth, God-given, heartfelt wisdom. Wisdom is knowing how to apply the knowledge we have in so much as when, how, where, and how much. And God has not withheld common sense from any one of us if we choose to practice it. The people in Walnut Cove are requesting a time for discovery, delay, and exploration on the dangers of an M2 heavy-duty 6 million square foot data center that has no place in our small, quiet, restful community of Walnut Cove. Many big city folks would give an arm and a leg to have what we have. Why does everyone run to the mountains and beaches to get away? Why do vacations center around camping and all kinds of outdoor activities? I have not seen people run to cities and areas of massive business complexes to relieve stress, change it up, and have joy and freedom to experience moments we treasure with our family and friends. We need to pass on good moments and great memories for our children. We are responsible for their mental health, their physical health, and yes, their spiritual health. We are responsible for the history that we pass on to them, for they will live it now and for the rest of their lives. I would suggest a moratorium of at least a year to discover more of what we are about to take on, and also to have wisdom in the breaks and safeguards to put in place. We need more input on what other small towns are experiencing, what they are learning and have learned. This takes time. Both the size, the second largest data center, heavy-duty complex, 6 million square feet, and the location are unreasonable for our population. We will be changed forever, and will it be good? Mr. Nations told us this is his first rodeo, first time to build a data complex, and each of us knows that we learn by trial and error. We don't want the error to fall on us and destroy our community. Mega money, mega greed, and mega prestige should not sway your thinking. Caution: the love of money, not money, the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Not one person ever benefits from greed. You can't get away from it. Time will tell. Can we really afford this rush job?
I believe is it Tim May?
Would you please pass this
So-
I'm sure the board doesn't need to know my name, but it's Tim May from Walnut Cove. This information comes from Fox News and Drew Nations himself. Drew Nations says he will use 1,200 of the 1,800 acres for Project Delta. This is about 1,000 football fields. He also states Delta will require 200 to 2,000 megawatts of electric power to operate both campuses. Believe me, it'll be the 2,000 megawatts. This absolutely amazed me, and I hope you'll pay attention to this next line. This is the electricity that 1 million homes normally use. The population of Stokes County is 44,000, which equates to about 20,000 homes. Stokes County's electrical consumption will multiply over 50 times when Delta's operating. We're going to use 50 times as much electricity. SMRs are small modular reactors and may someday be installed at Blues Creek Steam Station. The most common size is 300 megawatts. It will take over 7 nuclear reactors just to run this one project. On-site power generation, that's an option. Large methane gas generators produce 10 megawatts. It will take 200 large generators to power Delta. Now, each one of these generators is about like the front part of a transfer truck, the cab part. These generators will not be as efficient as Blues Creek, which has an efficiency of 37%, leaving 62% as heat, which is dumped into Blues Lake. Blues Creek Lake is very warm if you've ever been in it. It takes a lot more energy to heat water than air. Delta will use giant radiators to cool the servers. Radiators will have to get rid of the heat generated by 1 million homes. Near Delta site will be a heat dome. This is another one I really, really hope you'll listen to because it shocked the heck out of me when I found out last week. I looked up the power output at Blues Creek Steam Station, the nameplate capacity, which is ideal conditions. It generates 2,240 megawatts. Out of nation's own mouth, he's going to use 2,000 megawatts. That whole power plant would just pull this one project, all of the power at Blues Creek. If Delta's going to act like a power plant, treat it like a power plant. At Blues Creek Steam Station, nobody lives 100 feet from a generator. Nobody lives 100 feet from a turbine. Nobody lives 100 feet from a smokestack. Jet turbines will be what generates Delta's power. And nobody lives 100 feet from an airport runway. Thank you. No, I'm not done. Let me say one more thing. The average citizen is at a big disadvantage when opposing a mega data center. If the project developer and owner win, they get hundreds of millions of dollars. If the average citizen wins, all he gets to keep is what he already has.
Right.
Thank you.
Diane Koppel? Diane? Sorry.
I want to thank you.
Please state your name and address, huh?
My name is Diane Koffel. I live at 1270 Briarwood Drive in Walnut Cove.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. My husband and I have lived in Stokes County now for 50 years. We've raised our family here, our sons, and now our grandchildren are Sarah's, as are we. Are you? You live here? Do you support the Sarah Nation and everything that has its name? You don't put down roots, work here, support local businesses, schools, participate in community events, make neighbors into family, and raise and bury your furry family friends to have your lives ruined without a fight. I want you to know that we were very pleased to hear that your previous vote for the data center was nullified. Thank you for acknowledging that there was a mistake. I will also tell you that I don't think many, if any, of the citizens of Stokes County are in favor of this data center, as I'm sure you're well aware. So now that there's a clean slate, time to start over. To hear the citizens, to do the hard work of studying the facts. Things like, what are the long-term impacts? Electricity, water, noise, lighting, infrastructure, air pollution. What about our emergency services? Are they ready to handle a data center? I would think industrial projects of this size would require special rules and regulations.
not only to protect the current citizens of Stokes County, but those in the future. With all of that said, and the quick previous approval of the 3 months from November 2025 to January 2026 last time, I would like to request that you adopt a moratorium allowing the new data before allowing the new data center development. I would like to request that during that period of time that you have special meetings, bring in your experts, not Mr. Nations, to speak to the citizens. Things have changed, even in the few months since your previous approval. Governor Stein is considering changes for the state and what will and won't be provided to data centers. New House Bill 730 just passed the House on June the 3rd. That wasn't that long ago, and it's now before the Senate, waiting for it to either get approval or not. And we can't forget that we need to be consistent with the Stokes County 2035 vision plan that's already in place. So with all that said, there is one more thing to consider. There is an election coming up in 5 months. With the potential for 3 new commissioners being elected at that time, which we have no way of knowing, yes or no, I strongly believe that this major decision should be decided by the new Board of Commissioners. So I'm going to say that I strongly request that you adopt a moratorium and wait until after the new election and get all of the board who are going to be here for several years in office before any decision is made. Thank you.
Thank you. One more.
It's your call.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let them speak. I ain't got before.
Cheryl?
Hi, thank you for letting me speak tonight. I know I was at the end of it. My name is Cheryl Sepsi. I live at 2845 Tuttle Road, and I moved here recently and built a new home. And I did go and check with the zoning board prior to me building in last summer of 2025. And I asked them, was there any new projects going on or anything like that, and what everything was zoned. And they told me no. And it was a zone for agricultural residential down Tuttle Road. So I am one of 5 new construction homes right off of Tuttle Road that moved to the area for the beauty and the quietness of the area. Some of the people that already lived there, their families wanted to stay. I'm new, like I said, to the area. I ask you to please consider putting a moratorium in place on this data center so we can learn more about it before you move forward with it. We need to know our clear consequences that this will have on our lives, our land, our community before the county moves forward. It's not too much to ask, I don't think, of the county commissioners, from the people here, of the citizens, to put a moratorium on to find out for sure, and that we have safe procedures in place before proceeding ahead. The Land Solutions are proposing the 1,800-acre mega center, which they say last week when I was here that they'll have 8 different buildings on it, and it will go down 311, and then also it goes down pretty far on Tuttle Road. Now that's going to be turned to a M2 heavy manufacturing. So that opens the door for the rest of Tuttle Road to be converted to that. And then you have all those families there, and the land and the beautiful water and everything there. As everybody else said, as you know, I don't want to repeat myself on it, but there that would be in danger. If it's approved, it opens the door, like I said, for rezoning. They are supposed to have a closed loop system. They said also that will you still use thousands of gallons of water, and can the county substantiate that? Other people already answered that question. Plus, when asked at their meeting, how are they going to dispose of the water when they need to refresh the data water? They said through the sewer system. What sewer system? It's septic out there. And they're going to put a sewer system in? From what I understand, if they do, the sewer water goes into a constructed wetlands, filters and discharge into Town Folk Creek, if I'm correct on that, which is part of the Roanoke River Basin. Now, this has affected the water supply and the entire Stokes water environment and supply, which this water is going to have heavy metal carcinogens in, which is cancer causing.
Exactly.
And that's not good for the people and the health of everyone who lives here. Plus, I know that tax money is very alluring to have, and they're saying $20 million in the first half of the bill, $40 million at the end of the second half. Well, technology is advancing so quickly, especially with things like this. SpaceX is already developing a data center up in the orbit. China already has developed a system under the ocean that they're using. I mean, that leads me to the question, what happens when the data center is obsolete? Who's going to clean it up? Is it going to sit there like a big old metal mess? I mean, what's going to happen with that? At one of the last county meetings, we learned that approving the data center would take away a lawsuit from the owner that has against Stokes County, I guess, for the, the solar farm. Okay, so in one way or another, the taxpayers are going to pay for this data center or a lawsuit. Me personally, I'd rather pay for the lawsuit and keep our land and water environment clean from any negative environment impact, like no water available environmental noise and health hazard that may be created. They say the noise decimal sound will be about 70 at the edge of the property. Well, that will that be with the generators that they're supposed to be having going for the transfer? That's very loud and running. We need to make sure what they say is true. So that's why I asked for the moratorium, so we can investigate this more for 6 months to a year, whatever it takes, so we don't make any mistakes on this. And also, Stokes County has a noise ordinance, and it says if it is detrimental to health, it is prohibited. Well, I would say that sound is prohibited. Yeah, and that would be detrimental to our health. So please consider that. Please consider that before we make a decision on this and make a mega mistake for our community that will not be easy to reverse the damages if we do not do our due diligence. We need to do our due diligence before we pass it. So please consider a moratorium, and thank you for letting me speak.
Joyce?
I'm Joyce Slate Trish. Have been here, my family's been here for generations in Stokes County. Slates have. I'm going by something that was Winston-Salem paper that talked about what Mr. Drew Nations was saying. One is that it was compliant with the North Carolina Senate Bill 730. As far as I know, that bill is not completely finished. They're working on it. So that, for number one, it needs to be law before, not just a bill that is wandering around. We got enough of those in Congress. Another thing, he said the benefits would be so high, and with the increased personal property and real estate taxes. Yet everything that I read about data centers is that the residents that are living near there, like we are, we're 1 mile away, all of their property valuation goes down, down, down. So you're going to lose property taxes there because the evaluation of the residents is going down. Also, the possible completion date is becoming operational depending on neighboring Duke Energy's ability to produce the needed power. Duke Power just had a request for a rate increase. Why do they need all this rate increase? To build their power grid, to increase the power grid. Why do they have to increase the power grid? Because of the data center. So those are his own words. And he was saying that we're in a battle with China that did, for AI and stuff. Well, my information is that China has something like 450 data centers in the entire country. Mr. Nason said that there are already 100 in North Carolina alone. I think the United States has something like 5,000 right now. I think we're maybe ahead, not behind China. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lou Novak.
That's the last one.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for allowing us to speak. A few years ago, my family and I bought a timeshare, and the salesman was really smooth, and it looked really good. And it didn't take long before we regretted our decision. The salesman didn't tell us the maintenance fees would go up. He didn't tell us how hard it was going to be to book a room. And we made a hasty decision, and because that thing turned into a money pit. We finally just gave it back, but not without extra charge. It was a hard lesson to learn. Before we pull the lever on Project Delta, we should look under the hood and weigh the good and the bad so we can make a well-informed decision. I suggest, as so many other neighbors here have suggested, that we do a moratorium. It just makes good sense. We need to do some studies to get some more information. Because all of us are learning. The first time Drew Nation spoke, we didn't know very much, but we've gotten educated. And anyway, the studies I recommend, first of all, should be that we need to look at the increase of air pollution. What would be the negative effects on the people, the wildlife, and domesticated animals? My wife actually called the vet today and talked to her, and she gave her an earful. The animals are very sensitive to the sound that these things make. What guarantees us that Project Delta, with this massive appetite, will ever be fully on the power grid, as my neighbor just said a minute ago? How will 70 decibels of noise 24 hours a day affect the hundreds of residents that live within a mile of the project? We don't know. Walnut Cove is a bird sanctuary. Did you know that birds actively avoid data centers? Do you guys like birds? I do. I hate to see our birds leave. A mega data center can affect property values. This will hurt revenue. As someone else just said a minute ago, I looked it up. Those people that live close, their property values can go down. I'm within a half mile from it. Who's going to compensate me for my retirement? It will hurt new home construction, and have an effect on our growth as a whole, since 71% of Americans don't want to live next to a data center. This is why we should ask an economist to give us a real income figure a data center will produce after the evaluation of properties and the tax breaks. Maybe that 20 million might be only 2 million. Strong regulations must be planned and applied with the public input, which we keep saying that. Why do we keep saying that? And I told you guys this last time, we do not feel like we've been included. I mean, it's not just me saying this. I'm not trying to be mean here. Really, we feel like we have been included. Anyway, I don't want us to make a foolish decision, as always been said over and over again, based on a polished presentation. He's selling something. Let's slow down. Do the moratorium so we can do the impact studies with input from the community. If the decision is made to build Project Delta in its current 6 billion square foot, 1,000 acre form, it's going to cost many citizens of Walnut Cove. It will cost us our health, peace of mind, and the reason we live here and not in some big city. It's the rural character of our community. Let's be responsible. So some decisions are irreversible and have hidden costs we don't want to pay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim Wilkes? Jim Wilkes?
That's the last one.
I'm not going to be very windy. Obvious reasons. I don't have all the data facts, all the information a lot of these folks said, but I've lived here 82 years. And I know most of you, and like Brad, I spent a lot of my career in law enforcement. And I've found out one thing in my life. Anytime you get in a hurry, I sometimes always seem to think, maybe I ought to stop a little bit and thought about that a little more, because I usually make a mistake when I do that. So I'd certainly, you've got to have all kinds of pressure. I'm telling you, I certainly do not admire anybody that's sitting in your seat right now, because this thing could be really, if you think about it, if somebody's child somewhere along the line, down the road, Sonia, I know you're really for the schools, and we all are. I was a teacher too, by the way, for a long time, South Stokes. But if we make a mistake on this thing, you can't, you know, imagine how you're going to feel with it. Think about that just a second. How are you going to feel with this? You just cannot rush. You shouldn't have to shoulder all this burden. The people of this county, you got an unusual position here. I mean, it just worked out to be really hard on. It's got to be hard on you. And I'm telling you, I feel for every one of you. And the only thing that I could, in my suggestion, be do like Surrey County, give it a little time. Don't shoulder all this, because this thing come back and haunt you. It really can. If you live long enough, it can come back to haunt you. And you know, it's not that we're going to go under tomorrow if we don't get this right away anyway. We're not going under tomorrow. And so that's all I'm asking. Just don't shoulder all of it yourself. Give it a little time. Just think about that. And think about the other person in the process. That's all I can ask you. And so that's what most of these folks feel like. But I just, like I said, I don't have all the numbers that a lot of people have, but I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you.
At this time, I'll close public comments. Thank everyone who come out and spoke, and thank everyone who came out that didn't speak. Thank you for being here. And I'll move to the commissioner's comments, and I'll start with Commissioner Chandler.
Chair. First of all, thanks for everybody coming out, everybody that's watching on YouTube and streaming. I think it's very important. To be honest with you, I wish that we'd have more compassion and more people that come out to all of our issues in Stokes County, because I think a lot of times when you don't, you're really involved right now, and I wish you'd have been involved in other issues, but you listened to other people or you didn't pay it no mind. And I think that Stokes County as a whole, when you have a citizenry that are involved, and I get it, everyone's got a life. I mean, I've been there. But thank you very much for coming out. I see the compassion, and like the gentleman that was talking about, didn't have the facts and everything, or the data, but he was speaking from his heart. And I think I thank everybody for coming out. And you're right, it's a very hard decision. It's not easy either way. But moving ahead a little bit is I just want to remember, June 6, 1944. We were storming. American forces were storming Normandy Beach, 50 miles of coastline, and it's easy to forget the ones that died. Of course, they're gone, and then there were a lot more that survived, and they paid for it a lot of times with physical disability, mental disability, but it's the families that really suffer. And it's just like the Carroll County Sheriff's deputy that was murdered, ambushed a couple weeks ago, born and raised in Surrey County, had 2 kids, wife. It's gone. And again, it's the families that are always going to be they're going to be impacted. But please just get, I pray daily for our military, and I pray daily for our public safety personnel. Please keep the families, and please don't forget history. And at times I think history is trying to repeat itself a little bit. But the one thing you need to remember, that our freedom isn't free, and it can go away real quick. And I would hope that we can all put our differences aside. This is good. You're never going to please everybody, and everyone is going to have the same opinion. But I think for goodness sakes, as Americans, we can all get behind the things. Thank God that we have heroes that go serve in the military and serve in public safety, and are willing to give their life that we have now and we want to have in a future for our kids. Anyway, thank you, and that's all I got, Mr. Chair.
I'd like to welcome everybody. Thank the speakers for getting up and sharing your opinions with us. We really appreciate that. Also welcome folks that might be watching online. Hopefully we've got a lot of them tonight as well. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Woods?
Yes, thank everybody for coming out. It's been a great week with Nobot in charge of the hospital. That's all I got.
Mr. Cox?
I'd just like to thank everybody that's watching online and those who came to talk tonight, and we're taking notes and listening to your opinions and your comments, and we will definitely have that under consideration as we move forward when and if Mr. Nations resubmits his request, which he has not yet. So, thank you.
That's good.
Again, thank each and every one of you for being here. Trust me, I can only speak for myself. I listen to what you're saying, and I'll take all that into consideration. If I don't reply back to your email or your phone call, it's not that I'm ignoring you, none whatsoever. I read them, I listen to them, but if you do have any ad on that phone right now, I spend all day trying to reply back to all of them. But I really do appreciate your concerns about this, and I'm like y'all, I'm going to pray about this thing. And the main thing I want you to remember today is what Commissioner Chandler said, pray for our military so we can still have the freedom that we got right here today. Again, thank y'all for being here. Can I have a...
Jeff talk.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I apologize. Our county manager, I overlooked you.
I'd just like to tell a good news story. A couple of years ago, Veal and Copper approached us with an economic development proposal to expand their lines there out at the plant. And they went through with that thing. Work started, I think, about Christmas time in 2024. And if I recall correctly, at the time they were promising, I don't know, $20 million of investment and 50 new jobs, something like that. Brian and Tori and I had the opportunity to go out there and tour the plant today to see what the result was. And it is just phenomenal. That plant is going like gangbusters. If you had the opportunity to go out there, and they extended the invitation for y'all to come out there and take a look here in the near future as well, and you compare it to what we saw back in the November timeframe of 2024, it's night and day in terms of the activity in that plant and the copper products that are being produced. And you know, they've blown through that, you know, roughly $20 million investment promise that they made at the time, and they've doubled the new employee promise that they made at the time. They've hired more than 100 new employees, and they're just bursting at the seams. And what the story they told us today was it's really two factors, and really one really big factor and one smaller factor. It's the demand being created by data centers primarily, and it's also due to President Trump's tariffs on copper products. It's requiring a lot more domestic production. But they're doing great, and it was really neat to see.
That's good information. Great to hear that. Any anything?
No, Mr. Chair.
Libby?
No, Mr.
I'm
Chair.
gonna miss nobody this time.
I'm good.
Okay, I'm gonna miss nobody this time. That moves us to conflict of interest. Before moving further, does any board member have a conflict with any of the items on the agenda for today or that could perceive as being a conflict of interest?
No.
Can I get approval of the consent agenda?
Motion to approve consent.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Information agenda. Retiree recognizing HR Stacy Helms. She here?
They join up.
That's her.
Stacy had planned to be here today, but she left early sick, so I am filling in for her. So today we're recognizing Miss Stephanie Mabe. Stephanie, if you'll come on. Stephanie, in her 28 years with Stokes County in the Department of Social Services, since starting in 1997, Stephanie brought dedication and compassion to every role, from income maintenance caseworker 2 to income maintenance caseworker 3, and then finally to nearly 22 years as a child support agent 2. Her work has made a lasting difference for countless families, and her professionalism has earned the respect of those who worked with her. This is all from Stacy, okay? She says, Stephanie, thank you for your commitment and your steady presence and the care you've shown this community. We wish you a restful, relaxing, and well-earned retirement. Congratulations. So before I hand over a plaque to Miss Stephanie, I wanted to just say a few things myself from the HR office. So while Stephanie and I, we worked in different buildings and I was not involved in her day-to-day work, I had the pleasure of working with her over the years for various HR-related matters. She was always professional and kind and genuinely dedicated to the people that you served. One thing that always stood out to me was the pride that she took in everything she did. Whether it was her work, her appearance, her hair's never out of place, or the beautiful plants that filled her office. When I can't keep a plant alive for a week, but somehow Stephanie's office looked like a greenhouse. What impressed me the most, though, was her passion for her work. In HR, we often see employees counting down the days until retirement, but not Stephanie. I don't think I've ever seen someone so tore up about leaving their job, and I think that's a testament to how much she truly cared about the work she did and the citizens she served. Stephanie, we are grateful for your years of service, and we wish you all the best in this next chapter. We hope you have the well-deserved retirement. I think Stephanie's family's here too, so if you want to come up here, we'll get your picture with the commissioners too, okay?
Girl, about to say. Yeah. Keith's got the Kleenex. Jamie's doing it.
Sorry to hear that.
Please forgive me.
That's all right, honey. Daddy always told me a leaking head will never swell. For all you want to.
Half of mine had to leave. One of my great grandsons went to sleep.
That's okay. That's okay.
Congratulations.
Yes. Thanks for your service.
Yes.
What's up, bro?
Enjoy your retirement.
How you doing? We're in dispatchers. We're in dispatchers. Wearing a green shirt?
Oh, yeah.
He's a dispatcher, folks.
Which one?
Green shirt.
Okay.
That moves us to the discussion agenda, the annual budget ordinance. I guess that's you, Mr. Jeff.
Yeah, thankfully, you don't have to listen to another presentation from me.
Hallelujah.
As is always the case, pulling together a county budget is a huge undertaking, and I want to thank the support that we've gotten from everybody across the staff and department heads and management. You all as our board and the guidance that you've given us, but I think we're there, and so we have the budget ordinance for your consideration and approval tonight if you choose to do so. We also have the most recent draft of our operating plan. We're still doing a little bit of tinkering on that. We see some things that we can improve yet, but we do intend to have that wrapped up by your next meeting for adoption as well.
Sounds good. Go ahead to action tonight, or?
Do we need to action on the ordinance tonight?
Yep. If you're inclined to do so, yes.
Yeah. Let me make a motion.
Yeah, make a motion.
As presented, like at the last meeting, or how would you word the motion?
As presented in the agenda packet.
Oh, okay, great, okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the budget ordinance as presented, and it's reflected in our agenda packet that was published.
I get a
So
second.
we're moving it to action.
Hmm.
Is this action? Okay.
Good night.
Okay.
Yeah, move it to
I
action.
get a second.
And also move it to action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're just moving it to action. That's
Yeah.
what we're doing right now.
I was approving it, but we can do action first if
Yeah.
Why don't we move it to action?
Yeah, move it to action, yeah.
Then we'll go to action and approve it.
you want. That sounds good.
Okay.
Next.
Yeah. Yeah.
All in favor, move this action tonight.
Aye.
Okay.
For one action item.
Now it's your action item.
Now it's action item. Miss Olivia?
I'm getting there. I don't know why I didn't just write it in. I had a good feeling. Well, as you mentioned, you can make the motion to approve the item as presented in the action agenda. Whoever wants to make that motion, then a second, then a vote.
Got it down, Rick. Run with it.
I'll make a motion that we approve the budget ordinance FY 27 budget ordinance as presented tonight.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So move.
That's all of our items for the action
That
agenda.
takes us to a closed session.
Correct. I'll read the following rationales for closed session. To discuss matters relating to the location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the area served by the public body, including agreement on a tentative list of economic development incentives that may be offered by the public body in negotiations, and to consult with an attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body, which privilege is hereby acknowledged pursuant to General Statute 143-318, 11A, 3, and 4.
Yes. My thing hard back up.
It's cold. It's cold now.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion to adjourn.